A new leukemia treatment has the medical world buzzing. The treatment could be a game changer in the fight against cancer. It turns out a possible solution to one of our most feared diseases could be right inside of us with just a little tinkering needed. To look at the specifics of this hopeful treatment, let's turn to Dr. Matthew Chung. He is a hematologist at Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre in Toronto. Dr. Matthew Chung, in your simplest terms, explain how this technique works.
Well, what these researchers did in patients with chronic leukemia was to take out the patient's own immune system attack cells, or T cells, and then genetically modify them so that they could be equipped with what they call a chimeric receptor. What I think of it as is like a GPS unit. When these cells would be put back into the patients, this GPS unit would allow these newly modified T cells to attack just the body's leukemia cells and leave the rest of the body alone.
Okay, why is this significant?
Well, I think of it as a fairly major advance. It is a new type of treatment. It proves the principle that we can actually genetically modify our own body's immune system to attack cancer cells, and we can do it safely and effectively.
Even though it's only the study only involved 3 patients?
That's a very important point. So it proves the principle that it can work, but it's a very early study at this point in time. And I think we have to wait for further results in larger clinical trials before we can say whether it's safe in a large number of people as well as whether it's effective.
Could this be the holy grail of cancer treatment, the cure?
Well, I think it's a bit early to say that. I think it's exciting to see that this principle works. But again, I think we need to see results in a larger number of patients. We need to see whether it's safe. And we even need to see whether it's technically a process, a technique that can be applied broadly. It's a very complicated process to engineer someone's own immune system cells to attack their own cancer. And whether that can be done on a patient-by-patient basis for common diseases and other common cancers, I think remains to be seen.
What might be a complicating factor?
Well, so far, again, it's only been treatment in 3 patients, so we're still waiting to see whether new side effects might evolve when we use this treatment in a larger number of patients. I think whenever you manipulate the body's immune system, there's always a bit of worry about whether the healthy aspects of the immune system, the ability to fight infection, might be affected as well. And I think we need to be cautious moving forward in terms of looking out for infections when we see larger clinical trials.
Okay. Do you know at what stage the 3 people who were involved in this study, the original study, are at now? I mean, are they cured? What's their prognosis going forward?
Well, these were patients who were quite sick. They had gone through multiple treatments before. So, in a way, it's still early to see whether this particular treatment can keep them in remission, keep them free from their cancer for a long period. They've really only been followed for a year at this point in time, and it's still early to say whether they're cured. We usually have to follow people with this type of condition for a lot longer before we have that type of confidence.
Okay. What do you think the next step will be?
I think the next step will really be to expand these studies into more patients. We really need multi-center clinical trials, and it's only with more patients can we learn whether it's really safe, as well as whether the results will be just as positive as we've seen in this very small sample so far.
Would you want to start doing the same thing in Toronto?
Absolutely. I think this is very exciting for us. It is a major step, and it'd be great if we can do this in Toronto, if we can do it across Canada as well.
Why can't you? How will you start the process here?
Well, immunotherapy, which is this type of treatment, has been studied in Canada. It really, in terms of this specific technique, it really will take a collaboration of physicians as well as funding, research funding. So I think we probably will need not just individuals at centers to be able to champion this, but we really need support across the board as well as from government to look at this as a priority and fund it.
Oh, how much would it cost?
Well, it's a good question. I think it's still experimental, so we're still learning. There's some speculation of it costing, on an individual level basis, many thousands of dollars, and I probably shouldn't speculate beyond that.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. Dr. Matthew Chung speaking with me from Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre in Toronto. Thank you.